Well, hello and welcome. So, with 2024 soul readings now complete, I thought it would be a really good time to share with you some of the key themes that came out across those readings. I always think it's interesting when we have themes that kind of correlate across multiple readings because, the readings that I do are so very unique and tailored to the individual person. We create a space that is just for mine and your energy and the energy of your guides. We call in your soul support team. We actively channel the messages that are directly for you. And then we tune in to the ancestors, the helpers, the guides who show up to speak with you and share more of what they have to say. So when there are themes that come in, albeit in different forms for multiple readings at a time, I always think it's important for us to sit up and take notice because that probably means that it's something for the collective. And this year, as I was working through the readings, there were four that came through loud and clear across three, four, five readings each. I'm just going to talk you through those a little bit now because I think it's important that we all sort of just think about how these land in our body. Now, let me say here that the sample of people I was working with, while it was the biggest group of readings I've ever done, it wasn't exactly a representative sample for the billions that are on the planet. So maybe this doesn't relate to you, but still, have a listen, see what you can take from it. The first of the themes that came through loud and clear was about trust, trusting in ourselves and trusting in the guidance that we are given. Now, this one feels really personal and really important to me for two reasons. The first one is that it was my guiding principle of last year was the idea of trust, the idea of coming back into trusting me. So I stopped going outside of myself for answers. So I stopped thinking that I didn't know. What I've realized at the end of that year is that I feel more aligned with who I am. I feel more able to step into what I'm ready for, what I want, what I've always dreamed of than I've ever done before. And that really is or has been about cultivating the trust in myself and the belief in myself, and also cultivating the sense of my own connection. And that's another part of why this is a big one for me, because for me, you think it's a strange thing for me to say, but for me, my ultimate aim is to get us to a place where nobody feels like they need to come to someone like me to get guidance from their soul support team. I want to reconnect people with their wisdom, with their power, with their connection to spirit, to their ancestors, to their guides, so that they look inside of themselves for that and they trust what they find there. And this is a big part of that trust. It's about coming back to that sense of connection with everything that is available in here or in here or in here or wherever it is that you find it, so that you can trust spirit of your own accord. It's part of the reason I changed soul integration readings last year, because I wanted them to be less of a quick fix, come and get a reading, and more of a let us use that reading to support you on a journey of connection with yourself, on a journey of connection with your own guides and power and wisdom and everything that involves. So, really, trust is about that. It's about coming back to you, coming back to the guidance that you receive from in here somewhere, and also to what you already know to be true. Being able to shake off all of the shit that has told you that you're not trustworthy and come back to who and what you are, who is worthy of your own trust. The second one was really about radiance. One of my favorite readings I did at the start of 2023 was for a really lovely lady where they just kept repeating the phrase, remember your radiance, remember your radiance, remember your radiance. And that was a theme that perhaps less directly I heard um across multiple readings this year, was the idea that we are all radiant. And we've all had this, we all have our own unique flavor of radiance, and we've been tried to be swished down and dulled, and we've been told that our radiance isn't enough or isn't right, or any number of other bullshit phrases that have all been there to keep us feeling small and not enough. This year, we don't just step into a place of doing what we do, we step into a place of doing it radiantly, of unashamedly and unapologetically shining and beaming that radiance out to anybody and everybody that we want to, frankly. If we all did that, imagine. Because part of the reason that we don't beam our radiance out is because we're so frightened of other people feeling small. What if everybody did it? What if we were able to illuminate everyone's inner radiance so that we're all just shining it? There'd be no feeling small or dim or dull. It would just be a beautiful, bright, shining, almost a second sun for all of us. And I think we could do with that. Our world could do with that at this point in time. So that's really a key for me this year. My own guidance that I'm taking from these readings is remember your radiance. Remember what is your radiance and tune into it and shine it. Turn that dial all the hell of the way on. because that's how we get to where we want to be. That's how we see the way in front of us. It's how we see what's going on around us, and it's how we change things. The third one was all about connecting with lineages. And I love this so much. It was, be that connecting in with our ancestors, connecting in with our the ancestors of our land and of our place that we call home, be it connecting in with the ancestors of our work lineage or the ways that we're of service. It's about connecting in with those people, asking them what they've got to share, and more than people as well, asking them what they've got to share with us, asking them how we can honor them. And this is key. I think so many of us, particularly with the land ancestry part, I'm really fortunate because I live on the land where my ancestors have lived for centuries, which is a beautiful thing, something that frustrated me as a teenager, but now I love it. I know not everybody has that same sort of simple connection with the ancestors of land. So please know that as I'm saying this, I'm not saying to anybody that you need to connect with anyone that makes you feel uncomfortable, particularly if your blood ancestry is something that is a challenge for you. You need to connect with something that feels disrespectful or appropriative, particularly when it comes to your land ancestors or your lineage ancestors. What I am saying is we need to connect in with the lineages that are there waiting to hold us. And sometimes that does mean having some tricky conversations. Sometimes it means sort of leapfrogging those ancestors that we really don't feel a connection with and coming back to those that existed before that, because they're still all waiting to hold us. Sometimes it means doing the absolute, like the fundamentals first of practice of connection, so that then we can deepen that connection, we can deepen that reverence and that honoring, and we can really ask them what it is. Because here's the thing that those lineages were saying to me as I was tuning in for the readings, that as we're moving into that place of lineage connection, my good friend Charlie Edwards would call it lineage reweaving. As we're sort of reweaving our place in that lineage, we find that we're more sturdy, we're more rooted. We find that there are others who are holding us, who are able to share their wisdom and their support with us. And that's a really beautiful thing. And we also find ourselves kind of freed a little bit. When I think back to my psychology studies, all of the many years of them, there's this idea in attachment theory that we need a secure base from which to operate from. If children have a secure base to explore the world, they'll be able to do that feeling much more safe because they know there's always somewhere safe for them to come back to. If we can connect to those many lineages of which we are part, and we can really sort of sturdy up our connections to those lineages, we'll always have those secure bases that we can move back to. We'll always have those secure bases that will hold us, that will share their wisdom with us and allow us to share our wisdom from a more rooted place. That lineage connection is a key one this year. And the fourth one is one that I find both absolutely beautiful and heart-achingly painful, if I'm honest, because it was about recognizing that at this point in time, we are all in a place where we are holding both the old world and the new world. There's this sense at the minute, we look at the world around us and we see the world seeming to fall apart. In all of the ways, there are wars happening, there is genocide happening, there are horrendous things in the news every single day. And equally, there are some really beautiful things happening. We've been told for years and years and years by so many writers and teachers, etc., that there is a new world about to be born. And it's true. We are moving towards a beautiful new beginning. I firmly believe that. I know that in my heart and my soul and my blood and my bones. But new worlds don't just spring up overnight. For a new world to be born, the old one needs to die. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing the death throes of so many old power structures, and we're seeing so many people suffer as a result of those death throes. We might even be suffering ourselves in different ways as a result of them. It's easy when we're in that place to either pass the old away and just try not to look at it and focus all of our attention on the beautiful new that's coming and yay! Or it's easy to do the other thing, to anchor ourselves so firmly in the pain of the old that we can't possibly look ahead to the new. What we're being asked to do right now, every single one of us, and this is the one that I really, really, if you listen to nothing else in this message, I encourage you to listen to this one, because what we're really deeply being asked to do is both. We need to be able to hold in our hearts the pain of the old, to still be shouting and marching and campaigning and donating and all of the other things that we can do, praying and meditating and all of that stuff for the good of those people who are suffering. We need to be feeling these death throes, honoring them, recognizing them, moving through them, moving with them and sitting with them. And we also need to be looking ahead to the new. It's the only way that a new world is born from a place of rooting, is when we get to hold both of those things. We need to be able to focus on the new, to see it. There's that beautiful quote that says something about a new world is being born on a quiet day. I can almost hear it breathing. Listen to it breathing. Listen to that new world as it's born. Listen to the first cries of it as it emerges into the world, and allow them to lead you through the pain of that old world. Allow them to support you, to fire you up to do what you personally need to do. And by the way, that's whatever you can do without absolutely overwhelming yourself. We have to find that balance of looking after ourselves in these tough times as well. And I say that as a therapist. We we have to move through both of these things at once. And that's probably the biggest challenge for us at the moment. As I record this, Pluto has just gone into Aquarius. It really is the dawning of a whole new age. Last time Pluto was in Aquarius, it was the Age of Revolutions, was what it was called. I don't know what's going to happen this time. No two periods of time are ever exactly the same. But my lovely friend Alison, who is Conjuring the Muse, is an astrologer who talks a lot about how we can learn from past transits in order to understand what's happening now. And she will tell us that while there are similarities, nothing is exactly the same. And we also need to prepare ourselves. This change, this shift, it isn't going to happen overnight. We need to be willing to sit and hold and cradle the old. We, as at the same time as we are holding and cradling and encouraging the new. We need to almost be both death doulas and birth doulas at the same time right now, and that's really hard. It's tiring, it's scary, and it's hard. But that's really the call for us as we move into this year. So those are my 4 themes for 2024, and they came up, as I say, across multiple readings that I did to start this year. That idea of trusting ourselves and the guidance that we are given, that idea of tuning into our own radiance and shining it unapologetically, that sense of reconnecting to our lineages and understanding just what they can give us in terms of support and in terms of guidance, and that sense of holding both the old and the new, of walking that thin line between worlds that we are all walking at this time. And I think the beauty of these things coming in collectively, coming in from multiple readings, is that we remember we're not doing any of those things alone. We're all in this together. And that's something that we have to remember. It's something that we have to work with, and it's something that we have to build. I wish you the most wonderful 2024. Well, I'm a bit late in saying Happy New Year. And I also want to say that if you want your own soul integration reading, although the New Year readings are now finished for just now, there'll be more coming back in June. Right now, for the solstice, right now, main soul integration readings are up and running. You can get them on my website. They comprise of at least 90 minutes of personal channeling and messages from spirit. And they come to you as part of a 3-month journey that is very much self-led. It's all about tuning into your own connection, tuning into your own support system that lives and exists for you in the realms of spirit and beyond, and about remembering your own power and remembering your own wisdom. And it is forever an absolute honor for me to do those, and forever an honor for me to support you in this process. But whatever you choose to do next, I wish you all the very best for the year ahead. I hope that you remember your radiance, that you come to trust yourself, that you know you are always supported by your lineages, and that even as you hold those embers of this dying world that seems to be burning around us, you're able to see, hear, feel, and step gently into that beautiful new world that is being born. I wish you lots of love. Thank you for watching.